Bancho Boy Kooper here with your new Digimon National Champion, Jacob, fresh off of a trip to Las Vegas with this beautiful Interlumon rookie card. Absolutely gorgeous. And we're here today to talk about the first place Time Trader deck. So this is a deck that has a lot of different variations, so let's go ahead and get to it and see what exact brew you got right here.
Okay. Yes, I'm running 4 Wanimons as my egg. It's pretty typical egg to run if you're running the Mega Zoo style build. The 1 card draw, very important. You don't have a lot of card draw in the deck, since Digivolving up is not generally your game plan. And then for rookies, we have 1 Goma, 3 Tapir, and then 4 Alex. These are our searchers. You want to find these. You want as many of these as humanly possible in your opening hand. These combo with primary or Minerva, but they also just help make the deck way more consistent.
Yeah. Tell us about the slight variations in these and why these exact ratios.
Yeah, so 4 Electmon, because they are the best searcher in the deck. They almost always double hit, because the only way they don't is if they just hit cards without the Iliad traits, just the Tamers and the options. Then 3 Tapir, because it's the second best searcher, it can hit most of your 4s and all of your 5s and all of your 6s and double hit that way. And the Inherit is really good. Just suspending something is pretty good in the game right now. And then 1 Goma. Goma's the worst searcher in this deck. I'm only running in 1 because it's the only searcher other than I cannot play Tapir using the Abyss Drummer, but you can play Goma, which can come up. And then in addition to these, I'm playing 3 of the promo Katamon. I originally was running the promo Goma, but the card draw for the Goma basically never comes up. I'll be at exactly 8 cards, so I cannot draw. But the DP train, draining 2k, kills most rookies in the game. It kills the hoodie rookies. It kills other TS rookies, unless they have 2 home rows out. And it's also a way to get things to minus 7k, which kills basically in level 5.
Yeah, we'll chill and forcing for things as well.
Yes, it definitely does. That definitely came up.
Especially with some Horos boots on there, you can definitely clear a level 5 potion to level 4s.
That is true. Yeah, but the drain is very good as long as they don't have Digimon immunity. And then for 4s, I was running 1 Cyclo. You only need 1. It is generally just a way to finish the game if you have Adult Tamer out.
Very clutch. Also has raid.
Does also have raid. Useful for clearing bodies when you cannot kill them. 3 Dawuru. The Jammy is very nice. He's just a 4 who would just swing at security whenever you want. And then the Inherit, once again, the suspend something, very good. And the same on playing the Digivolving, suspend a Digimon. I'm running 4 Agiomar. He is the best level 4 in the deck. You want to get Albert Tamers as fast as humanly possible. And in the current meta, taking the top card of your security isn't really a cost, because most decks want to kill you in a single turn. And if they're just going to kill you through 5 security, killing you through 4 isn't that much different.
At least you get a pretty easy chip in early if you try to look for 4, so that's really the difference, right?
Yeah, it does not. The cost isn't really a cost. You basically draw an additional card. You just add it to hand. I'm running 1 Gatomon. I might actually want to up this. For the most part, this card's sole purpose is for it to be in my hand when Nervamon dies. Because when they kill the Nervamon, if I play this and if they're playing Hoodie, I do Digivolve, drain the rookie, it dies. It's basically the main thing I use it for. It's also just a 3k drink, which is just good. The DNA into Silphy. I know a lot of people talk about start of turn shenanigans with this card. Well, that doesn't really. I didn't see that happen a single time at a single table while I was playing. But it can happen on the start of turn, but I never saw it happen. But you can also just use it to DNA end of turn, which happened to me, I think, one time, just so you can get another 2 checks out.
Yeah. Speaking of the DNA. Yeah.
Speaking of the DNA, I have 4 Silphymon. It is, in my opinion, the best level 5 in TS. The DNA effect is to gain 5k and you get one of your Digimon sec +1, which, you know, if you playing a Megazoo style deck, it's often going to be just one of your Megas on board or itself. But if you have Neptunemon on board, you don't have to Digivolve again. Neptunemon just swings for checks. And it's pretty safe swinging at 17. Yeah. The minus 5k for just normal Digivolving actually comes up a lot because it's a good way to help clear board. The best thing about Silphymon in a lot of matchups, they don't have access to the Digivolve. Digivolving on top of Silphy is great because it's very hard for them to remove the body. Such as you can Digivolve Venusmon on top of this. If you Digivolve the new Venusmon to try to remove this guy, you just play out one of your sources and then you can just put that source into security immediately. And it won't go away. It's a very versatile card, and I like it a whole lot.
Yep, kind of ham partition up, very good protection effect to make sure you keep the body stuck on board.
Yeah, and it can play out your 3s as well. So if you need more surge, just play out.
And if you're preventing it from leading play, you can actually still play out the body and then still keep the Silphymon around.
Yeah. Yes, and it triggers from anything, unlike Proficient. It's any time it would leave, other than my own effects.
The stars, I'll show there.
For Megas, I'm running 2 Neptune, 2 Maruki, 3 Minerva, 2 Iliad Venus, and then 1 BT10 Venus. The real star of the show was Minervamon. Minervamon keeps your opponent from killing you almost always. It's very hard to get around this card, unless your opponent can just simply put it in security or bottom deck it, so they have to basically be playing Mastamon or some of these TS cards in order to be able to deal with this card very well. Neptunemon, also very versatile, clears your opponent's board, protects your own cards from being removed. Marukimon is almost purely just to help in the game. The only other really nice thing is that he's good into the mirror, especially if they're playing Neptune, because he can spin Neptune, then attack over it. And then Venus, in certain matchups, you don't have a way to get rid of a Digimon, like if he gains immunity, especially if they're playing like Gatemon going into Big2X. You don't have a way to remove certain bodies. So stunning 2 Fangs is really good. And then if you have Homers, it stuns 4 Things, which generally keeps you alive another turn. And it is one of your only ways to interact with Tamers. And then one of BT10 Venus, it's still just a good card. It works with Home Rose. If you give your all your opponents Digimon sec -2, they basically can't kill you. Some decks can get around it, but it's very hard to get around this card quickly. And the only way to do is specifically be teched to deal with this card.
And this card's even searchable even though it's out of archetype with your Tapirmon and Goemon.
Yes,
Shoshan's.
Yes, it is. I did take it up a number of times. For Tamers, I ended up running 3 of each, Homrose and Danube and Kanamuki. Homrose, just very powerful card in this deck. I'm running so many of the oldest 12 that it just basically always comes up. And then drawing 1 card is actually really nice. The fact that if my opponent decides to choke me to 5, I get to draw a card is really nice in my deck, but does not have as much card draw as a typical stack deck. The Dual Tamer is both good early and late. It gives you a way to finish the game, and it gives you a way to trigger your options without paying the memory. And then the 3 consistency Tamers. So, Hiroko is generally better than Asuna in my opinion, but they basically have hidden text after they search. If your opponent is paying attention, they will just give you 5 memory every turn.
That's what these cards say.
That's basically what these cards say. We'll give you 5 memory, so they will sit on the board doing nothing for the most part. unless they Crimson Leash, of course. But so they'll just sit on board doing nothing. So I found that more than 3, like once I have one on board, that's all I ever needed. And if they decide that I am bluffing, you can just get a free 4 or just get a free search.
It's super easy Silphy DNA, whether it's started from or not.
Yeah. And then after Tamers, I have my options. I'm running 4 in between theater. It's just it's arguably the best searcher in the deck because it also gives me 2 memory.
And you just use it for free.
If
Free memory on the.
if people say trainings are good, what if I could use a boost effectively for free? It also grabs anything I want. The only thing it can't grab in my entire deck is the 1 Venusmon. So it's a very, very good card. And then for one of options, I have 1 Abyss Sanctuary, 1 Tile Scream, and 1 Sonic Shot. Abyss Sanctuary, mainly running it to get the blocker. I tried Central Town, but blocker was just better than DP, so my swap book.
Another way to get blocker to size, meaning keep Minervamon on the board.
Exactly.
And of course, sometimes being Alliance, Neptune, or Venus on board, also very good.
Yep. Alliance is pretty good. It gives you Alliance even to your old Venusmon if you want to swing with the bow. You can also use it Dan Yuki end of turn. Another bonus to this over Central Town is that this can play all the minus 12. It can play any of them. The Central Town cannot specifically play Neptunemon. This one can.
And that's something I think people don't think about very often, is you can use the dual Tamer to use Abyss Sanctuary to then play it with the 12 in turn.
Yes. And it is pretty good to get a second Mega out if your opponent is not expecting it. Tidal Stream is a just good removal. It returns, so if somebody happens to hit it while it's in your security, I mean, they basically lose the game. But if that doesn't happen, it's just a good way to remove a bunch of the same old Digimon, just clear a whiteboard. It's probably, at the time I was using it, I would say it's the second best. It's the best removal because it just returns to hand. You don't have access to bottom decking with the options. If you did, that's what you can use instead. A lot of matchups, you just don't want it to delete your opponent's Digimon. Your opponent has Minerva, you don't want to delete it. And if it goes to hand, all you're doing is going wide, and you're just slowing them down. You use cover like that.
Yeah, and the other thing, text on that card, that actually unsuspends something, Cripple's Return, so that potentially you get another swing into turn with Diamond Con for game.
Yes, it can. Then you have Sonic Shots. Sonic Shots, I think more people don't know what this one does. It suspends something that it doesn't unsuspend during the unsuspend phase. That could be a Digimon or Tamer.
Another way to interact with Tamers.
It's another way to interact with Tamer. Keeping a Tamer stun for a turn is generally all you need to do with a Tamer.
Special emblem decks going around now.
Yes. Similarly, if you're trying to get around a blocker, you can just end of turn use this. The blocker is now suspended. And then attack for game with Tamer and Yuki. It's just a very useful card, and it helps deal with things you can't get rid of.
Especially if you can double dip both that option deck and the link effect in there on the attack with the down and con Tamer.
Yes. So you can use it to spend and stun a Tamer, because you can choose even a target that's already suspended, and then when attack will return something else to hand. Fortunately, you can all in turn to suspended Digimon.
You can potentially lock down 3 things out of the game: 1 to suspend lock, 1 to bounce to hand, and then swing over one.
Yes.
All one option.
Yeah. I think. Yes, so I ended up using this. I know it wasn't. I think I ended up using it in the finals. So it was for. And if you did not see, go to Grandma.
Not BH no one.
But that is the deck.
All right. So answer questions here to go with some names. So I think conducting in the deck is really too much of a far out there tech, like crazy, like we saw Bend and the Justimon and the Rocks, like of course. So everything there is a good card. You wouldn't be too surprised to see a TS deck. So what I'll ask instead is, what count did you agonize over the most on one card?
So in terms of counts I agonized over, it's definitely the Tamers, specifically the Damon Yuki, and the searching Tamers, the Tamers that play by effects. So Damon Yuki is a great card, but every time you find a second Dana Yuki and it just sits in your hand, all game. You do not want to play a second Dan Yuki ever. It is they are not good in tandem. Same as
Few finishing returns.
yeah,
For sure.
and the same with the Asuna and Hiroko. While very good when you have one on board, tempting your opponent not to give you memory, they often just like end up sitting there because your opponent will just be like, well, I'm just gonna give you 5, and that's generally fine to just give me 5, especially if you have a in between theater or not Kuroko, Homer Excel. But they end up sitting here a lot. And I ended up and the later the game goes, the more they just sort of just hang out in your hand. If they're at security and your opponent tracks them, I mean, that's great, but
Truly a surprise to a level homeless later on.
yes.
Right, so related, which count did you have that you felt like was the most justified? You felt the best. You made the best decision on.
I mean, obvious choices are like definitely any person building this deck will run 4 Electron, 4 Silphymon. Don't even think about it. The card I call was the most justified in bringing was probably Minervamon.
Yeah, Minerva at 3.
I'm Minerva at 3. I mean, maybe I should have had it at 4. The card by itself, well, it can almost be Hoodie by itself. Hoodie players can spend 5 minutes figuring out how they either deal with it or get around it, and it just all it does. I have to play it, spend 7 memory, and I can almost win the game just by playing. It's a very they have to spend a lot of resources dealing with one card.
Yeah, definitely the easiest one to get out there is to use an alien trait card on their boundary.
Yes,
Includes the homers, which you can also play, by the way.
yes. If I have like 1 to 2 memory, I have just pushed out a Wookiee and just played Minerva, draw a card, play something out, and my opponent then has to answer my board because it's very intimidating. Your opponent spends 7 memory, has 3 or 4 bodies on the board. Like, you don't really. It's very intimidating to do that. You may not be able to win the game, but your opponent is now in a mindset that you are very close to winning the game.
That can happen as early. Usually turn 2, you do that, just push out Minerva, bam.
Yes, it's a very good play.
So what would you say your 51st card would be if you could add one more card in the deck?
Right now, it would just be adding another Minerva. It would be that G.
All right. Tell us about some particularly effective plays with the deck that you're able to either actually during the event or some theoretical play. Of course, we talked about the start of turn DNA pull about, but a bit of a pie in the center of that one. But our other favorite play you have with the deck.
Favorite play? I mean
Maybe just the thing.
do the thing. I mean, the deck can do a bunch. Generally, DNA correct is pretty good. Using Dan and Yuki to use these options, either of these, is generally really devastating to your opponent because they know about end of turn attack and they know about in between beater, but they generally don't expect you to be using any of these link options.
Yeah, but that's a lot of lists that just cut you off essentially entirely. So kill the point, make it caught napping on that. They don't think you have option to rule.
Yes, and they're really easy cards to add to the deck because it's cheap removal, and you can search. All of your cards can search them, so they could just add them, will bottom deck them, and your pleasure.
Yeah, that's definitely a big difference from the standard color boost, missing all of your opposite cards and Tamer cards.
Exactly.
Power level tweaking.
Uh-huh.
Right, so let's talk about matchups. So you played almost entirely Kumie, and there's some variation of Tire Stranger Mirror.
Yes.
So how do you feel about those matchups? Did you have any notable games that we did get to see on the stream?
So let's see. Day 1, my first matchup, one of my 2 matches that was not against a Time Stranger deck or Hoodie was against Royal Knights. This deck against Royal Knights alive. You find Venusmon, they have exactly 2 ways to deal with it in their whole deck, and then if they don't deal with it, they lose the game. But you're not.
Here, if they'll Lego out to you because Mercurymon can just go through the armor.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Mercurymon can go through it, Neptunemon can say it doesn't do anything. You have a bunch of answers to their game plan. And then for the rest of the day, I play either a version of the Time Stranger deck or the Hoodie deck. So Time Stranger decks I played against a variation that was running. I played against 2 running a sort of a similar Megazoo style. I'm not sure what their ratios were, but they were also running the green egg and a bunch of megas. I don't remember exactly what their ratios were because I didn't see their decks that thoroughly. I played against 1 running the blue egg, and they were just a pure
In this area.
yes,
Neptune.
a pure Neptune Unus deck. They did not find Neptune either game, so it's very hard for them to win without that card. Then I played against 1 that was running the yellow egg. He was running Jupitermon, but I don't know how many. But he's also running Chimera and Aviochus and Silphymon. So
Some other DNA options.
yes, I think the Chimera was definitely an interesting choice. It makes sense. It gives you access to all those colors, so you can easily Digiball on top of it. But and it's very easy to drain a whole bunch of your opponent's board. I think I beat that 2-1. My only tie was against another Megazoo deck. It just went to time, and that's just how it went. It can be a slow deck.
Yeah, you can get super grindy when Minerva's out there. You got like 11 bodies on the side of
Well, yes, we both had 2 Minervas out. It was a very, very slow grind.
Absolutely.
So I was gonna say I played against 3. So in the total for the tournament, so I played 3 Hoodie day 1 and 3 Hoodie day 2. My record against Hoodie is 5-1. This deck, Minerva, is a very new card against Hoodie. It is incredibly good. Most people that were playing Hoodie were playing a turbo version of the deck. They do not have a way to deal with my guys outside of just draining them out with either Shikose or Hoodie. When you drain out Minerva, or I just simply block with it, it slows the game plan down a whole lot. They have to spend so many resources rebuilding just so they don't lose on the turn that they decide to attack me because I have Pyro. Overall, I was very happy to play against Hoodier so many times because I was very confident in this deck has a good matchup into it.
Yeah, and even the patrol variant, the options they can use with Ryuji don't really do a whole lot. Like, it's not suspended Minerva.
Yeah, the strongest one that they have in this deck specifically is Ice Archery. But all it does is stun me, and they will, if it's the only thing I have on board, eventually they have to drain it anyway. So yeah, that's what my matchup.
Right. So did you expect meta to be this narrow going into nationals?
I knew Hoodie would be very popular. Other than Hoodie, I wasn't sure how people are feeling about other decks. I actually was worried I would run into more Medusa. Medusa is a hard deck to beat, especially with Crimson Blaze. Other than that, I think I knew TS was popular and I knew Hoodie was popular, but other than that, I had no idea what people were playing. I was glad I didn't run into Jessamon. Jessamon is the slowest grindy matchup I could add him for running Genku. But yeah.
Yeah. So in general, do you know it is going to be a narrow meta? How do you approach if you just like try to find two that you notice is a really good deck, or maybe identify, all right, these are the top 2 decks that we play because rogue deck can beat these 2?
Well, I knew this was a relatively meta deck. As you would see in that so many people brought some variation of Time Stranger to play. The Megazoo style deck really fits more my play style, as I like to play. Before this I was playing Royal Knights, so to sort of play a bunch of level 6s is more my style. I like playing decks but run a very low number of level 5s. The only other decks I really played at the time were Jessamon, and that only runs 4/5, so I don't like level 5 Digimon.
I see.
But in terms of the meta, I knew this was good against Hoodie. I knew Hoodie would be popular, so that was basically the choices I made there. Testing against other Megazoo style decks, or other, specifically TS, it's just sort of knowing the matchup and then hoping you draw a good enough hand. There's not really much else to say about it.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense to me. If you think that it's going to be a pretty clear tier 1 of those 2X and one will be the other, then I'll play that one, right?
Pretty much.
Right. So in game 2 of the finals,
Yes.
you made a blunder. On the DNA, 2 different colors each one, but not different colors for Silphymon.
Yes.
Definitely looked, especially if that DNA had gone through, you were in a commanding position to win that second game. As it was, there was, some rewinds and whatnot, and you wound up losing that game.
Yes.
Tell me how you kept the mental fortitude to fight through that and just avoid that negative headspace going into that third game.
Well, I mean, it's very stressful being up there. I'm definitely not the first person to blunder live on stage.
Absolutely.
I watched many finalists blunder live on stage, so now I'm just one of them.
Sure, of course, able to keep your head together. And then let's talk about great resiliency in that building. So in game 3, Troy comes out with a pretty strong starting. You can find this the landing line. You're over here with a pretty dead hand. You turn 1, draw Clone Gross, which is not your preferred turn 1 play, but I guess you'll do it. Sitting on a very low hand and out the whole game. Then landing log gets cleared, and then Troy's not able to find a level 5 and just kind of ricks out of the game while you're able to scrape together enough pieces to take it in that decisive game 3. So, how do you feel about build a deck to avoid breaking it? Part of that, of course, is a pure stack deck versus a deck with a more adapted game plan, like you mentioned, like Royal Knights, or like this deck where you do have the option to hard slam various things so you don't have to build that ladder. How good is that to be able to have those variable game plans over the course of the day?
So, like the 3 decks I even thought about bringing were Royal Knights, well, I also play Hoodie, but I probably wasn't put that in Jessamon. All of those decks have access to being able to do something outside of Digivolving.
Some worming with Jessamon?
Yes. Working with Jessamon, or just playing, you can just play the 5 and you just go straight into Jess if you have an underbody. I don't like to play generic stack decks where if I can't find a single piece in the line, I'm in a very bad position. That's one of the reasons I lean towards this deck. It has so many ways to just simply play for board and you don't lose because of that. This is a very removal heavy sort of meta with Hoodie, Medusa, Rocks all being able to clear boards very, very quickly. But a lot of times you just, you play to what your outs are. My outs were I just play die every turn.
Yeah.
And all of my guys are really good at controlling boards, so.
And if you want to build a stack, you can still do that. You can still low on top.
I can still do it, because my opponent had to constantly consider whether or not I would draw a Silphy. Because every turn, if I drew Silphy, I could have won the game.
Yeah, I mean, you're running 4 Silphy, that's got 2 different from Suimon decks that are training 4 Talon, or like you said, Jessamon decks training 4 Saviors. So if you want to kind of masquerade as a stack deck, you can do that too. Yeah. Yes. Well, Jacob, one of the things I love about you is that you were always helping the community here get better. And so you a player, younger player, you'll help guide through, even in like a tournament. To your own detriment. I know I've seen you tell someone like, if you do this, I will lose, and I know your deck can do that. So do you have tell me how important that is to build up the quality from top to bottom. Of course, we have a lot of top players around here, but to build up the quality of those from top to bottom, so that you're all constantly getting quality matches on every local tournament you play.
Yes. So I feel that that's how I was shown to play Digimon, so I really wanted to help reinforce that. I feel that the better my opponents understand my cards when I practicing with them on a daily, or not daily, but weekly basis, the better I'll be as a player, because the better the actions they take are, the better I know what to do against a good player. If I practice against players and they have no idea how to interact with my deck, I probably won't get any better.
Exactly. Keep making your opponents better, in turn makes you better. It's a wonderful feedback cookie out there.
Yes.
All right. Well, I think that'll about do it for us here. Jake, you are a pride of the community, and Silphy, you'll be our third different representative to the World Championship from here in Linscomb, Alabama. So we could be more proud in our first place national champion. And goes the works.
I got first place.
And he did. All right. Thank you guys for watching. This will be it for Bancho Boys. See you in Worlds.